guys, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am back with another process video, and this is for Wild Whisper Designs. And so I am kind of combining together last month's Forever and Always collection with this month's mini collection release, which was called Small Patterns. And then I'm going to throw in one card, this one right here that I have left over from one of the very first collections that Wild Whisper ever created. And so this layout is interesting because it starts in one place and it goes completely into a different one. So I had pulled out all of these goodies that I wanted to use, and I'm going with this kind of black, white, and blue configuration. And so I originally had planned on this being a traveler's notebook spread. So you can see that I have my 2 pieces of white cardstock that are cut down traveler's notebook size. I am adding these little frames along the edge, so I have fussy cut them out of one of the pattern papers from that Forever and Always collection. And so then I am cutting the edge because I'm thinking that I want to make the edge of the Traveler's Notebook page look a little bit different. And as I'm playing around with it, trying to decide how I like that, if I like that, how it's all going to kind of be layered together in my Traveler's Notebook, I have it sitting on top of this black and gray kind of plus sign paper. And as I'm sitting there doing all of this work, I am thinking in my head, wow, this looks really good as a regular scrapbook page with this big white box in the middle and that black and gray kind of plus sign pattern as the background. So I decided to abandon what I was originally thinking and switch to a scrapbook page instead. So there is nothing wrong with your creative process evolving as you go. And so because that was something that was just working with me with the materials I happen to have on my table, I was like, all right, let's go with it. So we're going to go with it. So I decided to take all of these little labels that I had already cut out off, and I'm going to put them on some fun foam because I want them to be dimensional. Now that this is a scrapbook layout, I can add a little bit more dimension than I would typically in a traveler's notebook. And so these labels and tags originally were in that Forever and Always wedding collection, but they absolutely don't have to be, guys. So the challenge from me to you for this week is to use a collection that is typically meant for one thing for something completely different. So this blue heart and these all these labels, this particular collection was very much intended as sort of a love and wedding collection. And so I'm going to use it for travel instead, and that's okay. So I want you to try and think outside the box, use your supplies for something that they might not be originally intended for this week. And so I have taken my white box here that's going to be in the middle of my layout, and I'm going to back it with just a thin border of black to just kind of help it pop up off that background. I'm going to end up doing the same thing with my photo to make that also pop up a little bit off the background. So then I have this kind of my 2 boxes, and then I add in this strip of arrow paper, and that's from the Small Patterns collection, and that's a really great way to kind of tie this in and make it have much more of a travel feel. Those arrows are kind of typically something that you would associate with like camping, travel, outdoors, something like that. And so that kind of brings this collection along with me into this travel idea. And so I'm keeping the color combination pretty simple. I've really just got my black, white, and gray, and then this really pretty blue that came in that collection. And so I am going to go ahead and fussy cut a couple more of these little labels, and I'm going to tuck them in on the right-hand corner in the bottom part of that box. And I'm going to tuck them underneath, and that's going to give me a little place where I'm going to have a couple of embellishments as I continue to grow and build this page. So I have that blue heart that I fussy cut out, and I know that what I had intended to do with that is to put the words Boston across the letter. So I grabbed these gray puffy letters from Pink Fresh Studio, and I'm just sorry about being off screen there, guys. I am just adding the word Boston into the middle. So this is just a picture of my son as we were on this boat trip coming back into Boston Harbor. And this was a really significant trip for him. Last summer, each of the kids got to kind of pick a destination, and we planned a trip around where their choice was. And so Parker's choice was Boston, and he wanted to, a couple of reasons he picked Boston. He is a huge Red Sox fan, so he wanted to go see a game at Fenway, and he is very much a history buff. And so he wanted to explore things like the Freedom Trail and the Boston Tea Party and kind of experience some of the history of Boston. And that made a huge impact on both him and I while we were there. So I've grabbed this little stamp that just says Wander, and that's from Felicity Jane, and use Some Black Stays on Ink, and I've just added that in a few spots around my layout, and I'm going to actually go back and add that off screen at the end in one more spot up by that little compass. Then I'm going to grab some Bella Boulevard stars, and I'm just going to add those to create some little embellishment clusters here. And these were like kind of a perfect matching color to this collection. And then I went ahead and finished off each one of those with a little black enamel dot. And then I have this little phrase from Heidi Swap that's been in my stash forever that says, remember when. And then I went back and went ahead and added some journaling underneath my photo, and I just typed that up and printed it on the computer, and it's just talking about how taken he was with the history and how he was soaking in absolutely everything in Boston. And so because it's written as a letter, it does say Dear Parker and XOXO Mom. And that's basically going to do it. So definitely reach into your stash, check out Wild Whispers collections, find a collection that's meant for one thing and use it for something different this week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!